Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Fallout, where today, as you can see, we're going to be playing as Ricky through the first gameplay section of the video. Before we get into new gameplay stuff for today though, I gotta show you this old gameplay clip that I forgot to put into the last episode. This is Ricky recruiting Ian through sheer force of personality. You'll remember that I said that the reaction value that is set when you talk to people in the Wasteland does literally nothing for almost everybody. But Ian is one of those people that makes you have to say almost. If you get a high enough reaction from Ian, you can commiserate with him about his wound, and then he just immediately joins you for free. It's not a big deal, because it's not that difficult to recruit Ian by any other means, but it's a little bit of value for all those stat points that we spent. So, back to the new stuff. When we reached Vault 15, there was a rad scorpion waiting for us outside for some reason. We killed it easily, or rather, Ricky stood back and watched while Ian killed it easily, because it's important to establish the balance of effort in this relationship nice and early. And we took its tail as a trophy. The severed tail of a rad scorpion is very heavy, and not very valuable in trade, and also probably pretty gross. Like, they can't smell good, right? But we do have a very important use for it, so we're going to head back to Shady Sands for that after we spend our level up. So you have some skill points here. Combat skills are important, but unarmed being at 92% already means that it's probably good enough for now. Like, it's not really that hard to fight mole rats and rad scorpions. So I think we're going to put our first couple of level ups worth of skill points into lockpick. Why would you solve a problem when you could simply go around it with lockpick? Also, people tend to keep the really valuable stuff behind locks, so that's another important reason. So while we're traveling to Shady Sands, I do want to note that I am aware of the weird problem where sometimes the text in dialogue doesn't update quickly in the video. I don't really know what to do about it. Sometimes I get to see the text a couple seconds before you guys do. I'll read everything people say in conversations, which will hopefully minimize the impact of it. It's a really weird problem. So we've arrived at Shady Sands here. I should holster my weapon before Seth yells at me. But we're here in the middle of the night. This is a little non-ideal. As you might imagine, most towns don't really work in the middle of the night. People got to go to bed. The random NPCs will still be walking around delivering their, weird little one-liners. But anybody important, like a merchant or something, is likely to have an adverse reaction to you busting into their house at midnight demanding stuff from them. It's late. Come back in the morning. But Razlo, I need your help. Okay, are you hurt? Well, no. You will be if you keep me from my sleep. Now come back in the morning. Okay, that's totally fair. Fortunately, our Pip-Boy has an alarm clock feature here that lets us nap. So we're going to rest until morning, sort of. You may notice that it's still dark outside. Daytime in Fallout starts at 8 a.m., not 6 a.m. I have no idea why the Pip-Boy thing rests you until 6, but most people will not actually want to talk to you until 8. This is an issue that they fixed in the second game. Alright, hey Razlo, how about now? You feeling a little bit more charitable in the light of day here? If I had a sample of the rad scorpion poison, you think you could do something with that? Let me see the sack. Yeah, I could do something with this. Here, take this as a free sample. It seems to work well against rad scorpion stings, of course, but it shows much potential as a general anti-venom and poison cure. So apparently we're the first people who ever managed to actually kill a rad scorpion. So we get 250 experience points for helping Razlo make the antidote. The antidote has a bunch of advantages over a rad scorpion tail, obviously. It's a lot lighter, it's a lot more valuable in trade, and also, you can use it to cure poison. So there's a guy laying on the ground back here in Razlo's back room, and he doesn't look like he's doing so hot. If you talk to him, he says, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling too well right now. Please, if you can help find a way to fight the rad scorpions, talk to my brother, Seth. He doesn't explicitly tell you that he's been poisoned, but you might reasonably gather that he is suffering from the rad scorpion poison. So, this is a good news for him, is that we have some rad scorpion poison, or some rad scorpion antivenom, and the good news for us is that we can test this on this guy and make sure it's not, accidentally lethal or something. Indeed, over the next few minutes, the man shows definite improvement, and there's another big pile of experience points for us. So now Razlo will convert rad scorpion tails into poison, as many as we bring him, which is a useful thing to do if we end up fighting some rad scorpions around here. You don't actually need the antivenom that much. It turns out you don't get poisoned all that much in this game, but the trade value on it's pretty decent. Hey, Seth, while I'm solving everybody else's problems, why don't you take me to those rad scorpion caves? I'm feeling heroic. Are you sure you want me to give you directions to the rad scorpion caves? I mean, I'm not going to go, obviously, but I can show you the way. Okay, the fear in his voice is giving Ricky some second thoughts here, but yeah, show me where they are. And on the long walk over, she has some more time for even more second and third thoughts. Here's the thing about rad scorpions. They're huge. There's a lot of clicking and chittering, and the bulb on that stinger is bigger than my head, and you know what? Maybe I don't want to fight these things after all. Maybe this is a bad idea. But fortunately, Ricky is a very observant young woman, and she notices this portion of the cave wall seems to be a bit weaker. You'll remember that in Vault 15, we opened a weapons locker, and we found some explosives. Why don't we just set the timer on this big bundle of dynamite for, I don't know, 10 seconds ought to be plenty of time. That might not seem like much, but remember that while your inventory is open, time is paused. So that gives us plenty of time to set the timer on this, then drop it on the ground, and then we hit done, and we have to run away immediately. Ian, run away immediately? Okay, there we go. A little worried he wasn't going to back off there. Okay, the most important lesson that we learned in Vault 15 is that these cave systems are remarkably unstable. So we've brought the roof down. The rad scorpions are now sealed in their cave. You've gained 1,250 experience points, and we didn't have to get stung even once for it. Scorpions can't dig, right? They probably... You know what? Let's not worry about it. We'll just tell everybody we killed them. Won't be a problem. Hey, Seth, I killed all the rad scorpions. I'm a big hero. Well, our entire town is grateful to you for destroying the rad scorpions, since that's definitely what happened. Thank you. Okay, they're not exactly going to throw us a ticker tape parade or anything, and the experience points are going to have to be reward enough. And indeed they are, because they made us level 3, which means we get our first perk. Every time we level up to a level that is a multiple of 3, we're going to get a new perk. Perks are like passive bonuses, and they're pretty powerful. They're really cool. There's a lot more than 6 of them, but access to them is gated both by level and by your stats, so we're only seeing a tiny portion of them right now. We're probably going to take Awareness. Awareness gives you more detailed information about creatures and people when you use the binoculars action on them. What more detailed information means here is mostly their maximum HP, their current HP, the weapon they're holding, and I believe how much ammunition is in that weapon. That's just information that makes it a lot easier to make decisions in combat. You know, am I close to killing this guy? Is it smart to attack him again, or should I run away? That kind of stuff. I just really like having access to this information. There's a couple of other things we should talk about here. Bonus hand-to-hand damage might seem like a good pull on a character who is reliant on hand-to-hand combat, but 2 extra points of damage per attack is not actually going to end up being very much in the grand scheme of things compared to how much damage we will eventually be doing. And this perk isn't actually even as good as the text says it is. It actually only adds 2 points of damage to the top end of your damage range, which means only 1 point of actual average damage. It's a pretty small benefit, not nearly good enough to spend a perk on, in my opinion. Quick Pockets lets you access your inventory in combat with only 3 AP instead of 4. I actually think this perk is great, because accessing your inventory in combat to switch weapons or to use healing items or to just like economically reload 2 different weapons in the same action is a really powerful thing that we totally will be doing. But I value the bonus of awareness a little bit higher. Finally, Swift Learner gives you 5% extra experience all of the time. It says here it's best purchased at an early level. It's honestly kind of a trap. We're probably going to end the game significantly below level 20. So Swift Learner is not going to give enough XP to earn like a whole extra level. It's certainly not going to give enough XP to earn an extra 3 levels to replace the perk that we didn't get by picking Swift Learner. I just don't think it's worth spending a perk to get some skill points a little bit faster, and awareness is really useful. Okay, and like I said, we're going to go ahead and pour some points into lockpick here. Okay. So at this point, you know what, when we were walking back here, I noticed we had not actually asked Ian where the hub in Junktown were. There we go. Okay, nothing else. So at this point, we don't really have any idea what to do. We know that we need to find a solution for our people. We know where a couple of towns are, and I guess we just wander out into the wasteland and hope I thought this was like the coolest thing. This blew my mind when I played this game when I was like 12 or whatever. I really appreciate the openness of this design. We have no idea where to go next, but probably we ought to start by reporting back to Vault 13 and letting them know it's going to be a little bit longer than we thought it was going to be. At the very least, the Overseer will probably want to know what happened to Vault 15, right? And I'm looking at the date on our Pip-Boy now, and I'm wondering if we... Hold on a second. So whenever you go into a civilization, a city that you've been to before, all of the little sub-maps of that city are laid out for you, so you can just click and jump into any one of them. We're just going to go to the cavern entrance because I got to check something. Okay, 124 days left on the watership. That means we've been gone for 26 days. We need to go back outside and wander around for a little bit. There's something that happens in the vault once 30 days have passed, and I want to show you guys that. I didn't plan the route quite as well as I could have. We'll just like walk out of the circle a little bit and then back in. Okay, that should be enough. All right, and then we're going to just click around in here a little bit until it's after 8 a.m. There we go. Middle of the day, when people will be awake. So we're just going to skip the cavern and zoom right to the vault entrance. Ian has some thoughts about the vault. I've heard some of these places before, never been in one. Seems nice and clean. A little too clean for my taste. You know what, Ian? Nobody asked your opinion, and also stop playing with the elevator. He's like a child. Okay, hey everybody, the conquering hero has returned. I hope you are doing well on your quest. Yeah, thank you. That's very helpful. Okay, well, I can tell we're going to get a lot out of these people. We do have a wall locker over here, which obviously we should steal the stuff from. Hard to imagine that I wouldn't have taken it on my way out. Oh, they probably just restocked it since. Okay, we are good, right? Yeah, okay, 119 days left. Alright, we've been gone for long enough. So it's got the same layout as Vault 15, which is probably no big surprise. You'll notice there is no wall locker in the medical area, so we cannot steal a bunch of stim packs. But if we were to go to talk to the medical officer right here, he would heal us if we were injured. There's computers everywhere, and they're actually working. When you try to interact with a computer in Fallout, mostly it tells you that you should use the science skill on it, because that's what the science skill is for. The terminals on this level perform atmosphere and temperature control and backup maintenance. Okay, that's interesting. It's not super helpful. Okay, Ian, we're finally going to get to ride in the elevator. You know, I guess it makes sense for him to be excited. He's probably never seen one before. Yeah, it's like a magic room that moves. You know, it's just our dynamic. He gets it. It's not as mocking as it sounds like. So if we stop in and talk to the people in the vault, we can see that some things have transpired in the time we've been gone. No, not this lady. Here we go, this guy. See? You see, he's upset. What are you upset about, my friend? How goes the search? Honestly, not so good. We knew there was no hope. I don't think we'll get a new chip in time. I think some of us should move outside before it's too late. Yeah, actually, that might be best. That's what Teresa thinks. She's got it all worked out. We're thinking of leaving the vault soon. Okay, good luck out there. You know, it's not so bad. There are some giant scorpions. I wouldn't worry about them. You know, just forget I said anything. So, if we spend some time looking around, we'll discover that this woman up here is Teresa. Hey, Teresa, I hear you're sowing discontent about the vault. Can I help? How fares your journey? Not that well, honestly. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're able to find the chip soon. Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. I knew the outside couldn't be too bad. That's why I've been trying to convince some people to come outside with me. I think we have a better chance of survival out there. You know, given that I don't know that we're ever going to be able to find another water chip, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, a lot of us think so. That's why we're planning to take some supplies and head out in a few days. Say, do you have any advice for us? Not really. Watch out for giant scorpions, I guess? Oh, okay. Well, thanks. Listen, they'll probably be fine. It hasn't been so bad for us, right? So we should probably go ahead and deliver report to the Overseer, who is down on level 3 in his very tall chair. I don't know if you've heard about how tall the chair is. But hey, you look important. Who are you? The Water Guard. Hi, how you doing? I'm not feeling very well. Someone cracked my head with a big pipe. I went to the medic, but my head still hurts. Sure hope someone catches the jerk that hit me. Well, why did they do that? They attacked me while I was here pretty late one night. Usually I go home by 8 or so, but I was staying late since someone had some water stolen, and I was checking our supplies. Next thing I know, I wake up in the med lab with a big bump on my head. Things are getting crazy around here. Someone's gonna get killed for water soon, and I don't know what we can do about it. Oof, yeah, sorry. I hope you feel better soon. So that's the thing that you'd have to wait for 30 days for to happen. People in the vault are not handling their impending doom very well. It seems like the overall level of trust in us is pretty low. So if we just stand off to the side here, somewhere unobtrusive, the vault meeting room. You know, a good place for gathering with your fellow vault dwellers. Oddly, it does not hold your attention like it did in the past. If we go over here and just wait until the middle of the night, you can see everybody's gone to bed. And okay, I thought the water thief was gonna show up. Maybe he's not. Maybe nobody was stealing water. Maybe it's all a delusion. No, it's definitely a real thing. I really thought that that the water thief was gonna descend from the elevator there. Okay, well, hold on a second. I'm gonna double check that I'm doing this right. Okay, so I went and looked up what I was doing wrong, and it turns out you have to actually offer to help in order for the water thief to show up. So we're gonna run this dialogue again, and this time say, oh yeah, I'll see what I can do. There we go. Now we're gonna go over here and stand somewhere unobtrusive and out of the way until midnight. Okay, until midnight when this is when thieves show. This is the thieving hour. You know, aha. Okay, there we go. That's better. Oh, look at that. He's very clever. He's using the wall to camouflage himself from outside observers. He knows about the player perspective. What is he doing? He is not going to the water. Okay, hold on. He's just checking if the coast is clear, you know. We'll just give him a second here until he is convinced it is safe. Or maybe the script is broken? I'm going to be honest with you. My memory of this is that he would just go directly into the room with the water. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Probably. Maybe here we go. Aha! So we're going to wait for him to actually come out with the water, and then we shall accost him. Hey, you! What are you doing here at this time of the night? I was worried about the vault, and I had a nightmare. I couldn't get back to sleep, so I thought I'd take a walk to relax. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking for a water thief. I need to see what you're carrying. No, don't touch me. I don't have anything. Leave me alone. Would you rather have a bullet in your head? Okay. I've got nothing to hide. Look for yourself. Okay, it turns out he did not, in fact, have nothing to hide. Our brilliant police work has led to 1,000 experience points, and also us being around in the vault hallway while the door's unguarded, so obviously we're just going to help ourselves to the stuff. This is the storage room. It looks emptier than you remember it. The vault must be running out of supplies at a greater rate than you could have imagined. Okay, we probably shouldn't actually steal the water. Is that all that's in here, though? Okay, not a ton of water. Hey, good news. There's other stuff. A first aid kit, which is wonderful, and Mentats. You know, the fresh maker. A box of mind-altering chems. Increases memory-related functions and speeds other mental processes. What these actually do is they raise your intelligence temporarily. You can become dependent on them. You can get an addiction. But frankly, the consequences of addictions in this game are just not very serious. And also, we don't really need the extra intelligence, so we're just gonna not bother with those. We could take them right before a level up, and I believe they would cause us to gain more skill points on level up, but I'm just gonna not stress about them too much. You know what they are good for is selling. Also, hey, free stim packs. The people of the vault don't need stim packs, not as much as I do anyway. And you know, the water thief was in here, so we have plausible deniability. Okay, so if we, well, we should probably actually wait until it's daytime. Yeah, you know what? The overseer's in his office here, his very tall office. Let's just go and say howdy. Hey, buddy, I got some not great news for you.
Back, and in one piece. How goes the search?
Well, I haven't found the chip yet. Why don't we just make a replacement?
Oh, never did listen to me. We don't have the necessary parts anymore. We've used up all the supplies required.
Ah, yeah, okay, that makes
Look, I
sense.
know it's gotta be tough, but we're counting on you. And we're running out of time. Please keep trying.
It sure does sound like this place is a death trap that's just taken a couple of generations to finally start closing. So if we interact with the computers around here, we can get some more, like, basic information. I appreciate the attention to detail, like they actually bothered to attach text to them that tells you what they do, and like the computers in different areas are doing different things. For most of these, there's not a lot of benefit to interacting with them. However, there is this area over here. This room is the library. This is where all the fancy learning computers are. Learning machines are connected to the central core. They teach the inhabitants knowledge and skills. So, if we attempt to use a little bit of science on these things... Okay, you spend some time on the interweb doing nothing of importance. There's actually a check going on behind the scenes here. You can gain experience from these two computers, but if you whiff the check, you just, end up spending a couple hours on Twitter. Okay, so we got some XP from the second one. You can see we took long enough using the computer that people have awakened and are walking around again. And that's really all there is of value to do here. Again, like we could science up all these computers and see what functions they have assigned to them. Most of the people around here won't have a tremendous amount to say to us. We may as well go and have a look. We found the central core. This is the heart of the computer system. The Overseer makes sure everyone is well cared for in the vault. Some real NPC dialogue there. Listen, it was the early 90s. We hadn't learned how to do good writing for non-essential characters yet. Thanks for catching that thief. You're doing a good job. Well, please hurry and find the chip or it won't matter. Yeah, I think everybody should just have a chat with Teresa. She seems to have some real good ideas. The strong head on her shoulders there. Okay. So, what we've learned is that there aren't any other options, the Overseer doesn't know anything, and things in the vault are getting dire a little bit faster than we thought they were. I just realized, I don't know if I talked about the green exit grids, like the one we just walked across there. Green exit grids take you to another map in the same area, while the brown exit grids take you out to the world map. So, like I said, we don't really know what to do next. I mean, there's a lot of, if we scroll around here, you can see there's just like a tremendous, you're not going to be able to tell how much wasteland there is out there. But yeah, you can see we keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. There's actually just like a lot of map. So I guess we're going to start checking the couple of towns that we know about. Let's swing back through Shady Sands on the way out here. The area south of us is very mountainous, and the terrain does affect your movement speed. Going straight south from the vault actually makes you move really slowly, so we'll get out onto the plains here, and then head to Junktown from there, maybe. And as long as we're going by Shady Sands, we may as well say hi, Adam. Hey, Seth, what's going on? Oh, thank Dharma, you're here, Wanderer. My girl, Tandy, Aradesh's daughter, has been kidnapped. We believe the raiders have her. Wow, tough break. See you later. Now, obviously, we care a little bit. Where are these raiders? They're to the southeast. Please, hurry. I don't know what they'll do to her. He sounds upset. Okay, man. I'll get her back for you. Ricky's basically helpful. She wants to be a good person. Some of the time. Alright, go see the raiders. But you know what? Before we go see the raiders, listen, I'm not saying that I would only help Tandy for a price. But I am saying, what if they're willing to pay a price? We should at least check. It would be irresponsible not to. Hey, Aradesh, I heard about your daughter.
Thank goodness you came. I am in desperate need of assistance. My daughter Tandy is missing. I do not know what to do.
Have you tried, saving
My
her?
people are not skilled in this. Already 3 patrols have gone out to look, but none returned. Will you help me?
That's kind of a shitty thing to say to him. Did you try looking? Sure, I'll do it. For a fee.
Of course I will reward you. Bring her and you will receive 500 in hub script. Will you help me?
Yes, it would be irresponsible not to.
Seth and I believe one of the raider clans is responsible. retribution for our resistance to them. Take this spear. It was found where my daughter was last seen.
Okay,
Please,
I'll check it out.
talk to Seth. He knows much about these raiders. And Godspeed, Wanderer.
Also, his nose is itchy. You know, he has a lot of problems. He has big problems and little problems. Okay. Before we go, we're going to have a quick check-in with Raslo. Maybe Raslo will care that somebody's taken Tandy. You look distraught. Are you in need of assistance? Well, Tandy's been kidnapped, man. Haven't you heard? Tandy's gone. I find this hard to believe, but maybe she ran away with Seth. I know they've been eyeing each other lately. Eridesh was always a little bit of a prude. Perhaps it was too much for her, finally. I don't think so. I think she was kidnapped. Everybody seems to believe she was kidnapped. How awful. If that's the case, I hope she's not hurt. Who's looking for her? Many people, including myself. Oh, well, if she's hurt, it could be bad. Here, take these. I hope that you won't need them. So, it would be nice if the game just told us what happened there, but I believe he gave us some stim packs. Here's a weird thing. Because Raslo has a different script for when you talk to him at night than he has during the day, you can get a little bit of medical assistance from him for the quest in the daytime, then come back in, and when he hits you with the nighttime, it's late, come back in the morning thing, you can tell him about the problem all over again. Many people, including myself. Oh, well, if she's hurt, it could be bad. Here, take these. And would you look at that, 2 more stim packs. You know, Raslo's very forgetful. Maybe it's bad to take advantage of a forgetful man in this way, but we just took advantage of a terrified father. It's, we'll just put it on the list. This goes on the list of things that Ricky should probably atone for. Well, I suppose let's go have words with those raiders, shall we? So you can click on raiders here in case you don't know which circle is which. I happen to know that that one is the raider camp, but apparently we're going to have some other problems on the way. Alright, so aimed unarmed attacks only cost 4 AP to perform, which is awfully nice considering that we have 9. I'm going to step a little bit out to the side before attacking, because I want to try to make it so that Ian's not shooting directly through me to hit the enemy. He's not the best shot in the world. So because our unarmed skill is so high, we're actually pretty good at hitting the vulnerable parts of enemies. And we're just going to hope... Basically what we're doing here is fishing for a crit, right? Always fishing for a crit. Okay, I do not like that we are not focusing our fire. Boy, Ian can just really go for it sometimes. He would not be a good enemy to have. Okay, we got a 12-point crit and then a 6-point crit, which is, I believe, totally within our normal damage range. Yeah, that was not much of a crit. But hey, it got the job done. Did these rats have anything? Gee, what a surprise, they did not. Well, we got some XP for it anyway. Should probably put away our brass knuckles. It's just a good habit to get into. We're going to click a little bit, just trying to get past 8 a.m. Alright, the raider camp. You see a small building with a series of tents nearby. The inhabitants look dirty and mean. They sure do look mean. I mean, that's a big spear. Hey there, man. How are you? What do you want? I'm looking for a woman named Tandy. You seen her? Nah, I ain't seen her. Why you asking? Oh, nothing. Just looking for a friend of mine? Ah, okay. He's totally fine with that. Hey, stranger who just wandered into our camp asking for our new prisoner by name. What about you? You willing to be a little bit more helpful? What do you want? I'm just looking for a woman named Tandy. Okay. How about this? There's a bounty on her head. If I could kill her, I could get some good cash. Maybe I'd be willing to split it. You don't sound like you mean it. I think you're up to something. And if you're telling the truth, I'll bag that reward for myself. Okay, well, we kind of goofed that up, apparently. So there's a little speech check hidden in there. We didn't pass it, because we don't have good speech. Okay, I've made a save here, because there are a bunch of different ways to release Tandy, and we're going to show you several of them in quick succession here. So the first thing you can do is the most straightforward thing. Let's just walk in here and buy her back, right? See here some bruised and battered women. sobbing uncontrollably in the corner, just in case it needed to be driven home that these raiders are not good people. And before you, Garl, leader of the raiders, with just an extremely raidery name there. Yeah, what do you want? I've come in peace to negotiate the release of Tandy. See, here's the thing, I recognize when I'm outgunned, we're definitely pursuing peace here. Well then, what do you offer for her release? Something tells me he's not too concerned with his eternal soul on account of, the battered women crying in the corner. We could fight him one-on-one. I certainly would love to kill this dude with my bare hands, but he's pretty big and he's wearing spiked metal armor, so I wonder... Maybe we should fall back on our charisma and bartering skill. I'll give you something. Must be valuable indeed. Show me. Okay, the good news is we have a lot of valuable garbage, just like stuff we've picked up in the wasteland that we don't actually care about. So this shouldn't be a problem. You can see here, Tandy will cost us $625 to release. And I'll just intercut a little image here of what it costs for Marty, just to drive home the difference that having a high charisma makes when bartering. We should be able to make $625 worth of value happen pretty quickly. So you'll remember in the last episode, I said I was pretty excited about having found this totally normal bag. If we use the bag, we can open it up and see what's inside. Actually, I'm a little surprised. There's a whole gun in that bag. Do you want this gun? He does. We certainly don't need it. But the bag has other uses. So if we... give me one of my flares back. Actually, can I unload... I should unload the gun before we give it to him. He will pay us less for an unloaded gun. Here, we'll give you some fruit to make up the difference. I'm sure this fruit... Oh, wow, that fruit's actually a lot more valuable than I thought it was going to be. Give me back 2 of those fruits, and I'll give you an extra bottle cap. There we go. A perfectly reasonable, dignified way to negotiate for a human life. So if we get a hold of the abstract concept of Tandy's freedom here, you'll start to see the power of the bag. Actually, what we want to do is put this on the bartering table, and then open up the bag and place this inside, close the bag, and okay, pleasure doing business with you. We now have in our inventory a sack full of the abstract concept of Tandy's release. For some reason, they designed the game in such a way that the scripts that are supposed to remove items like this that don't actually represent a physical thing don't know where the item is if you put it inside a bag. It completely disappears from the game's code and reality. So we just have this abstract item now. If we step out from the wall a little bit so that it's more obvious and drop it on the ground, say, you can see it looks pretty strange. Ian, must you? Really? He's always going to be a problem. Okay, well, we'll just pick that back up. And you'll notice Tandy's not actually free. She can't actually come out. All we have to do is talk to Garl now and say, I want the girl. I have something of equal value. And then close the talk interface without giving him anything. And she's actually released. Hey, Tandy, how you doing? Let's get out of here. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. That raider is being a real jerk, just standing in the doorway. You know, it's not enough to kidnap your friends and to extort you. They also gotta mess with you. Tandy? Wait, did they re-kidnap her already? Tandy, where are you? Where'd she go? Oh, she ran all the way... Somebody must have stood in the doorway at the moment she was pathfinding, and I guess she ran all the way out the back of the building. Okay, well that's one Tandy rescued, but it's not the only way we could have done it. We could also actually try fighting him one-on-one. Now, if you win the fight, he does actually let her go. But, yeah, I've come in peace to negotiate the release of Tandy. I'll fight you one-on-one for her. Fine, we shall settle this with no weapons. Knock me out and I'll let you take the woman and leave. I knock you out, you leave without her. It probably doesn't shock you to know that he doesn't stick to his word. If he knocks you out, he totally kills you. We don't have our brass knuckles. I am a pretty good melee combatant, but you can see Garl is actually very hard to hit due to his high armor class, and he's just tough and good at fighting. This battle's actually very difficult to win at the point in the game where you probably are going to be doing it. Let's try to punch him in the groin just as hard as we can. Okay, 1 hit point. He must be wearing a cup. Let's try that again. You know, a good critical shot to the groin could make all the difference. We're gonna end turn and add our action point to our AC here. Ooh, he managed to hit me in the eye. Also, the raiders are out there trying to taunt us, but they're extremely bad at it. Okay, for some reason his groin is 1% easier to hit now. He must really be enjoying all the violence. I critically missed and crippled my own right arm. Well, that's not great. You might imagine that's going to have some effect on our melee efficacy here. Hitting the groin for no damage. I really am just fishing for crits. What if I move 1 space away? Just try to like burn his action points chasing us? What I'd really like to see here happen is for him to miss and for it to turn into a critical miss. Nope, I missed again though. Now I've crippled my left arm. Am I still allowed to melee attack? I'm not even sure. Yeah, you know, we got legs. I can kick. So as you can see, even with a character who is spec'd for melee combat, this unarmed versus unarmed battle is very difficult. Oh, I critically hit him. Okay, so one of the things that can happen when you get a crit is that it can bypass their armor, meaning it ignores the damage resistance properties of their armor. And while he's down on the ground, we actually have a dramatically increased chance to hit, so I'm going to go for his eyes. I think this is the moment. Or I could completely miss him. We're going to run away a little bit. So standing up at the beginning of his turn costs him some AP, and I was hoping he wouldn't be able to throw a punch. But yeah, he totally murders us.
The afterlife is all that awaits you now. May you find more peace in that world than you found in this one.
Wouldn't that be nice? Well, that worked about as well as I expected it to. It is possible to win the fight if you get some lucky headshots or something, or if you just come back here later after you're much more powerful. And if you win, he does stick to his word and release her, which is unexpectedly honorable of him. But obviously that's not the way you're intended to do this at this point. Bartering's all well and good, but what if I decided I didn't want to give a whole bunch of money to a bloodthirsty murderer? I'm the only bloodthirsty murderer who's allowed to have money. Well, it turns out the back door to the building is pretty much just a door frame. You know, this whole place is pretty dilapidated. And you can just walk right in here and say hi.
Who are you? What do you want?
Oh, right. I didn't talk to her with Ricky, so she has no idea who we are. I'm your fairy godmother. What's it look like?
Oh, aren't we the sarcastic one? Are you gonna get me out or what?
Yeah, just hold on. When you see the door open, run for it.
That's it? That's your plan? Ugh. All right, but hurry. I heard them talking and I didn't like their plans.
She's just very critical of people's plans in general. Okay, I mean, this is easy enough. We have a considerable amount of lockpick skill, so just open the door, and now, you might imagine the raiders won't like it very much when they see us running off with her. Fortunately, the exit grid's right there. That was a really bad moment for her to be exactly in the doorframe. Okay, it's not a big deal. We're just gonna run right up here. Again, I'm trying to give Ian a nice angle to attack from. Oh, there are 2 dudes right there. That's not great. Okay, well let's just, wow, she's also remarkably tough to hit. Maybe I underestimated how much we needed more unarmed skill. I'm gonna hit her in the groin too. Always go for the groin. Here you go. Raider was critically hit in the groin. Her childbearing days are in trouble as she collapses in a limp heap. That's a little bit more graphic than I was expecting. You know what we need? We need a grenade. We have grenades. We could probably clean this up. I'm going to back up a little bit. Just, again, let Ian have some room to do the thing that we know he wants to do. And the people of the Raider camp are waking up. It turns out a gunshot makes people pretty alert. All of a sudden, everybody knows what's happening. Well, hopefully these women are going to be able to escape while we're causing all this commotion. Tandy is trying to kill Garl with a knife that she found somewhere. So this is one of the minor problems with the combat system, is that when you get into a combat that has a lot of combatants, the turns get really long. Apparently we're in the second round here. Tandy critically missed and hit randomly, it says, although she definitely didn't hit anybody. Okay, Ian's murdered that young woman. Boy, I sure hope they don't murder Tandy before we're able to get to the exit grid. So I was thinking we would start our new turn and then we'd go into our inventory and get a grenade and throw the grenade over here, but maybe the smart move is just to flee. I'm going to get stabbed a couple of times, but we'll make the exit grid, probably. The downside of this is that because I'm no longer in the building, we can't see what's happening in there very clearly. Alright, Ian's just capping people. Wow, he just one-shot somebody. Critical hit slipping past the armor. Ian was hit for 15. I am concerned he's going to die. He has a couple of stim packs on him. Boy, it sure would be a shame to lose Ian this early in the game. I'm pretty sure that we are going to be able to hit the exit grid next turn. Boy, Tandy is really having at Garl. I guess that's fair. He's actually running, I think. Oh, now Tandy's getting knifed. It's a whole, like, orgy of violence in there. There we go. Freedom. We made it. Sort of. It's not exactly ideal. Alright, we're actually going to use the save where we have the concept of Tandy's release in our inventory because that amuses me. But there you go. That's a couple of ways of doing that. I'll probably cut in a few more with the other characters at this point. It probably doesn't come as a huge surprise that Marty can just bluff his way through this. Like most people who base their persona on appearing tough, Garl scares very easily, and when Marty makes some vague threats, he just kind of folds immediately. There is another stranger way of freeing Tandy, though. If your character is male and has at least 9 luck, there's a chance that everyone in the camp will be terrified of you. If you listen to their chattering for a bit, you can gather that they believe your Garl's dead father come back to life, possibly for vengeance. It really is an incredible stroke of luck to look exactly like this particular dead warlord at this particular time. Fortunately, Garl believes it too, and Marty is able to once again bully him into compliance. Okay, so here we are, again, post-negotiation. It just amuses me to have a bag full of freedom in our inventory. It's not in the bag anymore, it's still in my inventory, everything's fine. I will be very upset if I lose it. Okay, let's go back and show everybody what a serious big damn hero we are. Just a couple of days of walking through the desert, which I'm sure Tandy doesn't mind at all. Okay, here we go. And yet another level earned. Hey, Tandy, you're not going to say, like, thank you or anything? No?
Hi.
Really?
I was
There we
afraid
go.
you were gone and I wasn't going to get a chance to thank you for rescuing me. Oh, that was great! Action, adventure! Anyway, if there's anything that I can do for you, you just ask.
I'm just going to short circuit this option here. This doesn't work. She's not interested. I mean, first of all, she really wouldn't be interested in Ricky, because if you try it with a female character, she just tells you she's straight. But if you try it with a male character, she tells you absolutely not, and she gets very mad about it, as you might expect. So let's just not do that one. How about I ask you a few questions?
Sure, I guess. I've never been out of here, so I don't know what help I can be. So, what you need?
I mean, we've talked to her. We know what she
This
says.
stuff. No problem.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, that's about it. Thanks for your
Well,
time.
Thanks for talking. We don't get many strangers here, so...
Okay. Good enough, Tandy. You know, it's just nice to see her safe. And then we're going to go spend our character points. I think our lockpicking is probably in an okay place right now. Let's push it up to 100 just because I like round numbers. And then let's start pouring points into steel. I want to be able to reliably relieve merchants of all of their stim packs. Alright, we're making some pretty good progress here. Before we end Ricky's portion of the video, let's finish looting the entire town. It turns out there are some items that we have not yet grabbed. For example, in this bookcase, we have this, a Scout's Handbook. So there's a bunch of different kinds of books in Fallout that you can use to increase your skills. The Scout's Handbook increases your Outdoorsman skill. Outdoorsman is not really very useful. It does almost nothing, but we may as well get the free skill points, right? So if we have a look here, you can see our Outdoorsman skill is naturally -1. After we use this book, the amount of skill points you get out of the book is based on how much skill you already have. As your skill goes up, you learn less and less from books. You know, they contain more things you already know. We learned a lot about wilderness survival. Hey, look at that. 10 points of Outdoorsman gained. Mostly what this does is lower the chance of you having an unfortunate incident in the desert. Sometimes when you're traveling, like a rock slide will fall on you, or you'll take some damage from thirst because you weren't able to find water. Outdoorsman makes that less likely to happen. It sounds worse than it is. The rock slide falling on you does like 2 damage. It doesn't really matter. That said, why wouldn't you want skill points? There's also this bookshelf over here. So we were told not to play with the bookshelf earlier. It turns out there are some things you can do to avoid people being aware of your theft. For example, using the steal skill. You can steal from a bookshelf, and look at that. She has plenty of useful stuff. There's not actually a steal check involved in taking items from a bookshelf in this way, but us using the steal skill prevents her from saying, hey, don't touch that. So we get a first aid book, which we will definitely read, and some assorted medical supplies. And look at that. Despite the fact that we did that, presumably, like she definitely could have seen us. She is none the wiser, somehow. So this here is a doctor's bag. This assists the use of the doctor skill. This is a first aid book, which is, you know, a book. We can read it, and it will increase our first aid skill. The difference between first aid and doctor, basically, actually we can just go look at this on the character sheet, is that first aid allows you to restore some hit points quickly, while doctor is for more serious wounds like my eye is crippled, or something like that, which is a thing that can happen. You will not need to use either of them very frequently because of how effective the just healing over time while you're walking around is. But if you won't need to use first aid very much. Doctor sometimes becomes really important because there aren't really a lot of places that you can fix a crippled limb, but hopefully we'll just never have that problem. Also, there's not really a lot of like time stress on doctor usage, so if your limb gets crippled, you can just try over and over again until you get there. Alright, over on this map, we have this fellow, Curtis. He is a farmer. We'll see a little bit more from him when we cover what Marty did today. But on our way out of town, we may as well steal everything that isn't nailed down. So there's a second Shady Sands map here with a little bit of loot. Some farming to try to explain how these people eat and survive in the desert. There's a well. Hey, isn't that lovely? You see the water supply to Shady Sands. This is too little water to supply your vault. Oh well, we tried. And over here, the Brahmin pen. Look at them. They're twice as adorable as a normal cow. I bet they smell just horrible. Alright, there is one more bookshelf. So there's a lot of guys just sort of lazily milling around here. Nobody's going to mind if we just help ourselves to all of the ropes. And hey, another scout handbook. Isn't that handy? We gain ourselves another 10-ish points of outdoorsman. It'll probably be a little bit less now that we have more outdoorsman skill. Yep, that time it was only 9. I would love to leave this room, but that guy was kind of standing in the doorway. Alright, I think that's about it. We've done a lot of wonderful things for the people of Shady Sands that make me feel 100% entitled to take all their stuff. I mean, listen, I think that they would have wanted me to have it all. Really. So that is going to be it for Ricky's adventure for the day. Let's see how Marty and Asher did. Marty and Asher both actually slay all the rad scorpions to help Shady Sands. Marty gets through it with the help of Ian because he wants to gather all those rad scorpion tails to make into antidote, while Asher gets through it with the help of Fast Shot, mostly because he loves shooting things. He just He just really loves shooting things. Upon hitting level 3, Marty takes awareness because I really like it, while Asher takes quick pockets because he doesn't actually care about people's weapons or hit points. As long as they're standing up, he's going to be shooting them. Back in Shady Sands, they both get Razlo to make the Radscorpion antivenom and heal Jarvis. Marty spent a bunch of the skill points from his level up, increasing his science to 40%, which allows him to explain the magic of crop rotation to a farmer for some XP. Asher definitely doesn't know anything about farming, but he's able to get the XP anyway by just opening and closing the barter interface because of a weird bug. Then, Asher decides it's time to take revenge on that smarmy asshole Ian and his gang of identical knife men. Using some of the explosives from Vault 15, he unleashes his fury, and then things rapidly spiral out of control. It turns out most of the people in Shady Sands really like Ian, and also really don't like psychopaths who throw grenades inside the city limits. Asher commits a long series of acts of self-defense, some of them preemptive, and in the process gets a pretty cool rifle from Seth, who probably won't need it anymore. And just in case anybody forgot, Asher is not a nice person. Eventually, Shady Sands runs out of people who want to fight, and Asher takes a moment to pick up all these unowned objects just laying all over the ground. After all, it wouldn't be right to just leave litter everywhere. On the way back to Vault 13, Marty has an encounter with a strange, whatever this is. When he gets close to it, it goes all, ooh, no, okay, well, I was trying to do Doctor Who, that really came out more Mentok the Mind Taker, but you get the idea. The thing disappears to another time and space, and leaves behind this motion sensor, which you can plug into your Pip-Boy to get a crummy map of where there are, like, living things in the area around you. Of course, because of the way the camera works, you can already see where things are in the area around you, through walls and everything, so this gadget kinda doesn't really do anything. Oh well, we can probably sell it. In the vault, Marty encounters Teresa's rebellion and is able to use his high speech skill to convince her to follow the Overseer's orders. Notice that Marty gets XP for resolving this issue in this way, but Ricky didn't get XP for encouraging them, which feels a little bit judgy on the game's part. I'm sure Teresa's people will be just fine on the outside. Probably. Marty's also able to talk his way into the weapons room, where he picks up some always welcome free stuff, including this very nice shotgun. After all, we can't all be lucky enough to have a magic alien weapon. Asher can't quite accomplish that, but he does get something even better. The medical officer is so uncomfortable with Asher's presence in the medbay that he bribes him with a stim pack to get him to go away. And when Asher talks to him again, he does it again. And then again, and again. At some point, Asher realizes that he can't carry anymore, so he stops, but this supply ought to last him a while. Asher does visit the bottom floor of the vault, but he can't quite bring himself to report to the Overseer. He gets close, but then he sees the chair. That chair, that infernal chair, mocking him, cruelly standing there, but all tall and slippery. Oh, it's too much, and Asher flees into the night. Well, into the elevator, but then from there, into the night. After this, of course, Marty returns to Shady Sands and then rescues Tandy, as we've seen. Asher doesn't feel that there's a lot of reason to go back to Shady Sands, but in his desperate flight from the vault, he does happen across the Khan camp. Seeing a group of heavily armed people just itching for violence, he can't help but think, wow, these people look in desperate need of leadership. He applies for the position, but Garl politely turns him down, and then things just sort of go all Asher again. Now this is a serious enough situation to warrant the use of precious energy ammo. It's worth mentioning here that while Bloody Mess was an appropriate thematic choice, it is going to cause me some problems in conjunction with the alien weapon. You can see that when we get the most violent death animation with energy weapons, the target is usually reduced to ash or completely vaporized, which unfortunately results in their inventory spilling all over the floor in a way that is very annoying to loot. Oh well. Asher gets a lot of use out of his quick pockets and goes through about a dozen stim packs in all, but in the end the raiders prove themselves unworthy of his association. It looks like if he wants to save the people of his vault so that he can rule over them with an iron fist later, he's going to have to do it himself. And that's going to be it for us for today. This episode was a lot more work than I thought it would be, sorry about how long it took. Come back next time in some number of days to see how our quote-unquote heroes find their way in the vast directionless wasteland. and we'll see you then.